You're listening to The Philosopher's Note on Tony Robbins. More wisdom in less time.
Hi, this is Brian welcoming you to The Philosopher's Notes on Tony Robbins. These are notes from the Unleash the Power Within and Date with Destiny seminars I attended. We'll start with a quote from Tony. He says, "Who will you have to become to achieve all you want?" I love that, and I like to say that Tony Robbins is part philosopher, part comedian, and part rock star. At least that's my conclusion after attending his Unleash the Power Within and Date with Destiny seminars. He's seriously one of the funniest guys I've heard and is incredibly good at what he does. I filled up an entire journal during my Date with Destiny week-long event and have captured over 20 of my favorite big ideas from this event, as well as the weekend workshop Unleash the Fire Within. You know, the one where you walk on fire. Seriously. So let's jump right in with the 6 human needs and then check some of my absolute favorite lessons, including your primary question, which has to be one of the most powerful things I've learned. All right, so we'll start with the 6 human needs. Tony likes to say we have 6 fundamental needs. The needs for 1, consistency, 2, inconsistency, 3, significance, 4, connection, love, 5, growth, and 6, contribution. Now, all of these needs are present and important. The question that'll shape our destiny is, which are our top needs? Is it consistency? If this need runs the show, we're afraid of change and can't dare to take a new step. Is it inconsistency? If so, we need to always be at the edge and can't relax. Is it significance? If so, we've got to look good at all times and impress the world. Is it connection and love? If so, we need to feel connected and loved above all else, and we may sacrifice our authentic selves if this is turned up too high. Is it growth? If so, we need to feel the sense of expansion and evolution into our highest selves. Is it contribution? If so, we need to feel that we're giving our greatest gifts in the greatest service to the world. Again, we want to work with and master all of these, but what's running your show these days? In your most freaked out moments, in your highest moments, the ideal 2 or 3 to lead the show? Growth, contribution, and love. Lead with those, and then the rest will flow. And that leads us to your primary question. Tony teaches that we all have a primary question we ask ourselves whenever we're under stress, and it's not nice. So can you think of a question that has gone through your brain for most of your adult life whenever you get a little stressed? Mine, am I going to look stupid? Now, that's not a very empowering question, to say the least. Think about it. The answer to that question, am I going to look stupid, is never going to be, oh no, you? You're going to look like a genius right now. Go for it. Everyone's going to love you. It'll be more like, yeah, you will look stupid. Remember when you messed that thing up before? Everyone looked at you kind of funny? You got all sweaty and freaked out? Yeah, that's going to happen here too, for chisel. Whatever you do, do not do it. Yikes, it's not very empowering to have a voice like that going through your mind. And when you ask a question like, am I going to look stupid? That's exactly the kind of dialogue that's going on, whether you're aware of it or not. So, back to you. Do you have any more ideas on what your question might be? In any case, my question stopped me from doing all kinds of things, from dancing to making simple phone calls, all kinds of stuff. The idea? Get clear on the fact that you have a question that's running the show. Figure out what it is, and most importantly, replace it. My empowered question? How can I let God flow through me? That is a much better question to ask myself when faced with a stressful situation. So how about yours? Change the question and change your life. That leads us to the next big idea, good judgment. Quote, success is the result of good judgment. Good judgment is a result of experience. Experience is often the result of bad judgment. End quote. So if success is a result of good judgment, and good judgment is a result of experience, and experience is often the result of bad judgment, then where do we start? Well, with failing, of course. So quit taking yourself so seriously and get on it. Emerson tells us that all life is an experiment anyway. So what are we worrying about? All right, that's tied into the next big idea. What are you focusing on? Tony has this great little exercise. All right, you ready? If you're driving, you're going to have to wait until you're not operating heavy equipment, that being your car, to do this one. If you're in a room and you can look around or outside or whatever, then please do me this favor. For the next 60 seconds, I'd like you to think of the color brown and look around you and find everything that has even a hint of brown in it. All right, you got it? Cool. So go. Find all the brown stuff you possibly can. Keep on looking. There's a little bit of brown right there. You missed it right there. Check it out. Brown, 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 brown. A little bit more brown, brown, brown. All right. Now, what did you see that was blue? Oh, you didn't see anything blue because you were so focused on the brown, huh? Hate when that happens. It might be time to change our lenses and quit looking for all of the brown-colored stuff in life. All right, while you're working on that, remember, too, horror movies. That's the idea, the next big idea. So, you ever watch any movies you just absolutely hated? Me too. So, quick question for you. Would you go watch it 10,000 times? Right. That'd be pretty stupid, wouldn't it? So, another quick question. Why do we replay that horrible scene from our lives over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? Time to go to a new movie, huh? I'd agree. All right, the next big idea is called doing depression. All right, you are depressed. Please think about all the things that suck in your life. And even more importantly for this exercise, please assume the posture of you being depressed. And again, if you're driving, you're going to have to wait to do this one later. All right, so assume the posture of being depressed. You got it? All right, what did you do? If you're like me, you kind of slouched over. You stopped smiling. You probably looked down. You kind of rounded your back. Everything kind of slowed down a little bit. And while you were rounding your back, your breath started to get a little bit shallow. Is that about how it went? Did you get into the wilted flower pose or something kind of like that? Very good. Well done. Now try this. Stand up straight, maybe jump up and down a couple times, shake yourself out, smile, pull your shoulders back, breathe, deep breath in, exhale, smile again, look forward and up, maybe even bounce on your toes and shake your body out a bit. Own that, rocket. All right, you got it? Very good. Now, get depressed. Come on, keep smiling, breathing, bouncing a little bit, and get depressed. I don't know about you, but I can't get depressed when I'm holding myself up, I'm breathing deeply and smiling. It just doesn't work. So, let's not do depression anymore, all right? And I'm not being flippant here about the challenges of depression. I've certainly experienced some very dark times in my life, but it pretty much is this simple a lot of times. Get up and move. Go out and exercise. Go out and sweat. It's proven scientifically to help reduce depression, and it's always a good idea to implement in our lives. So don't do depression, pretty please. And also, do not drive looking in your rear view mirrors, which is the next big idea. So my hunch is you're a pretty good driver. And I have another question for you. When you're driving, do you spend all your time staring in the rear view mirror? Right. So why do we spend so much time staring in the rear view mirror of life? As Tony Robbins says, rear view mirrors have a purpose, a very limited one. Let's just look back to learn the valuable lessons our experience has to teach us and spend the rest of the time enjoying the moment and looking at the future. Yeah? Cool. All right, here's another big idea. Your body doesn't lie. You ever heard of applied kinesiology? It's fascinating stuff. Try this on. Find a friend, stand up, and face one another. Have your partner stick his or her right, or whatever the dominant arm is, out at 90 degrees, so straight out. Have them resist as you push down on their arm. And please do not break their arm. Press gently and forcefully, but gently. Now, ask them their name while they have their arm out at 90 degrees. And push down. Have them tell you their name and then push down while they do that. And test the strength of their arm. All right? And then relax, have them kind of relax, and then have them put their arm back up and ask them their name again. Only this time, have them make up a name that isn't theirs. Push down again. See if you notice a difference in the strength of your friend's arm as you push down after they told you the wrong name. I definitely noticed that when I did that with a partner during the workshop. It's rather interesting. It's basically saying we're weaker when we're lying, and we're stronger when we're telling the truth. Fascinating stuff. And you can test it in other ways. You can think mean thoughts, and then test, are you strong or are you weak? And you can think loving thoughts, and test, are you strong or weak? Think of a time when you were terrified, and then think of a time when you were absolutely confident. It's fascinating to see the difference in the results. So try it out. Pretty cool stuff. All right. After you're done with that, we will look at the next big idea, quality questions. So Tony likes to say that thinking is really just a series of questions and answers we pose to ourselves. We're constantly asking and answering, asking and answering, asking and answering, right? Now, if we believe that we're constantly asking and answering questions of ourselves, it begs the question, pun intended, what kind of questions are we asking ourselves? So here are some simple examples. You're having a rough day. You didn't work out when you said you would. Boss is being a jerk. Traffic sucks. Whatever. What do you ask yourself during those moments? Does your inner dialogue go something like this? Grr, why can't I ever do what I say I'm going to do? Or is it more like, I wonder, how can I make better commitments and have fun following through with them? Or how about, why is my boss being such a jerk again? Versus, I know I'm always reading that life is our classroom, so how can I learn from this situation and have fun while I'm doing it? Or how about, why is there always so much traffic? Versus, wow, I wonder how much conscious breath work I can get done on my way to work today. Lucky me, there's traffic. So notice the different types of questions and the different types of responses that each of those questions will generate. One drives you deeper in the wrong direction. The other questions open you up to growth and all that goodness. It's simple stuff. Powerful mojo always is, huh? But take a moment to pay attention to the questions you're asking yourself today. Become aware of them. Become conscious of these questions. And let's ask better ones. And also, remember to laugh, which is the next big idea. Tony likes to say, quote, 10 years from now, you'll laugh at whatever's stressing you out today. So why not laugh now? End quote. I love that. What's stressing you out right now? Do you really think you're going to be stressed out about it in 10 years? My hunch is you won't be. So why not laugh now? All right, the next big idea is called confusion. So when we're confused, we have two choices. We can get stressed or we can celebrate it. Tony's vote would be celebrate it. Recognize the fact that confusion is simply the place between a formerly held perspective and a new one. I don't know about you, but I think it's a heck of a lot better to have the courage to not be so rigidly attached to an old view that you can't even open up into the possibility of seeing the world in a whole new way. Of course, that requires the humility, confidence, and courage to let go of the past and enter the unknown of confusion en route to a new, clear, and more powerful perspective of your world. So when we're in that gap, let's step back, see it, and celebrate it. And a funny story, if anyone ever said they were confused while Tony was working with them during the seminars, he'd have the crowd, all 2,500 of us, jump up and clap and scream our excitement, celebrating their beautiful state of confusion. It was pretty fun. All right, moving on to the next big idea, control meaning. So quit trying to control others, quit trying to control outcomes, and focus on the one thing. Yes, ultimately, there's only one thing you can control: how you choose to respond to life moment to moment to moment. As Tony says, you want to change your life? Control the only thing you can control, the meaning you give something. So what meaning do you give to challenges? Do you view life as a fun playground and classroom, always giving you new challenges to grow? Or do you view life and setbacks as a pain in the butt? Choose wisely. And also think about emotional indulgences, another big idea. So Tony likes to ask the question, what emotional state do you need to avoid indulging in to reach your ultimate destiny? Here are my responses from the exercise I did at Tony's Date with Destiny in December 2004. The emotional indulgences I needed to avoid were procrastination, fear of looking stupid, self-doubt, anger, impatience, and overwhelm. How about you? Really get at those emotional indulgences, make a commitment to no longer indulge in them, and watch your life take off. I certainly have. All right. How about problems, cemeteries, and spiritual muscles? That's the next big idea. Tony says, quote, problems are God's resistance to create spiritual muscles. I love that, end quote. So a problem occurs. Again, how do you respond? Do you say something like, again? All right, well, that would be one option. Or perhaps you could say, yeah, here we go again. Another chance to rock it. Let's get it on. Remember, problems are good. How else are you going to show what you're made of? As Tony says, the only people without problems are in cemeteries. If you don't have problems, get on your knees and pray. Puts it in perspective, eh? All right, the next big idea is called shoulding on yourself. So Tony likes to talk about this too. What's with this word should? What a strange word. I should do this. Huh? Do it or don't, but should? As Tony would say, quit shoulding all over yourself. It's stinky. Should. Don't should all over yourself, please. It just isn't attractive. And the next big idea is, what's your identity? Tony has a quote. He says, the strongest force in the universe is a human being living consistently with his identity. So what's your identity? If you could have any future you wanted, how would you show up? What's the most compelling future you can imagine? What's your identity within that incredible future? Not where you are right now. What's your ideal self look like? Very important question, no matter where you are, however successful you are. What's your ideal? Who are you? What's your identity now? Live consistent with your ideal. Become the strongest force in the universe now. Pretty please. All right. And as you do that, remember this. Quote, a decision made from fear is always the wrong decision. It's a very powerful statement. How many times have we made a decision that just didn't feel quite right, but that we felt compelled to make? Step back, ask yourself what you truly want in a given situation. Recognize you have the power to create many options, and choose the path with heart. Have the courage to push through the fear and make the decision you know is the right decision, which is always going to be the one that's not based on fear. All right, here's another great thought. If you can't, you must. Tony says, what you can't do, you must do. What you must do, you can do. That's pretty hot. So, what can't you do? Very good. You just signed up to do it. Seriously, have fun with that. All right, moving on to the next one. Averages and friends. Tony likes to share Jim Rohn's adage that you are the average of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time. Think about that. You are the average of the 5 people with whom you spend the most time. All right, so let's make a list. Let's write down number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Now, next to each person when you write that down, make an arrow. Up if they inspire you and make you a better person. Down if they bring you down. The lesson is frighteningly simple. You want people who bring you up, not down. And that leads to the obvious question, do you need to alter your top 5? Remember, we are the average of the 5 people with whom we spend the most time. We want to choose those 5 people wisely. 2 more big ideas. Physiology, focus, and language is the next one. Tony says we need to pay attention to these 3 areas if we want to create an ideal state. 1, your physiology. So are you slouching, stopping your breathing, and basically looking like the wilted flower we created before? Eek, you're doing depression. That is not recommended. Stand up, put your shoulders back so you can breathe. Very important. Smile, breathe some more. Shake your body out, bounce a bit if you're feeling it. Very good. Nice work. That is physiology. We need to pay attention to it. The number 2 thing to focus on is focus. What are you focused on in your mind? If you're looking for evidence that your life sucks, well, guess what you'll see? Focus on all the things you appreciate about yourself and life. And then what will you see? Good call. Focus on the good stuff. And number 3, language. How do you talk to yourself and others? Pay attention. It's more powerful than you can imagine. So pay attention to your physiology, your focus, and your language a little bit more today. And finally, being and becoming. Tony says, and I quoted this in the very beginning, who will you have to become to achieve all you want? That is a very powerful question. So what do you want? And who do you need to become to get and achieve all those things? What skills must you acquire? What's your character like? What rituals do you have? What habits do you need to build? What habits do you need to finally get rid of? All right, that's more than enough thinking and listening and journaling. It's time to do it. So I wrap this one up with a little bit on Tony Robbins. Here's a little bit on him. For the past 3 decades, Anthony Robbins has served as an advisor to leaders around the world, a recognized authority on the psychology of leadership, negotiations, organizational turnaround, and peak performance. He has been honored consistently for his strategic intellect and humanitarian endeavors. His nonprofit Anthony Robbins Foundation provides assistance to inner-city youth, senior citizens, and the homeless, and feeds more than 2 million people in 56 countries every year through its International Holiday Basket Brigade. Robbins has directly impacted the lives of more than 50 million people from over 100 countries with his best-selling books, multimedia and health products, public speaking engagements, and live events. All that's from his site, where you can learn more, TonyRobbins.com. And if you liked this note, you'll probably like the notes on Ralph Waldo Emerson, Ken Wilber, the 4-Hour Work Week, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, The Magic of Thinking Big, and basically every other note in there. All right, trust you enjoyed and wish you an absolutely fantastic day. Look forward to sharing more Philosopher's Notes with you soon. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this Philosopher's Note. Please go to www.philosophersnotes.com to download more.